Theater. How is everyone tonight? It is so great to see all of these smiley faces in the audience this evening. My name's Erin Vermeulen on the radio on WWJ. I go by Erin B. So it is very nice to see you all, and it's an honor to be here. So thank you very much for being part of this great event tonight for Turning Point. If you don't know about Turning Point, I suggest you go to the website. It's turningpointlacombe.org. They do the most amazing work in the community, and when Cindy Shalter Salcedo contacted me to be part of this, I was over the moon honored because I know all of the hard work that they do to help women in the community. So before we get to the program tonight, I want to thank Alter Ego Boudoir, and also thank you for being a part of this, and of course Lee Elena Funeral Home, who is also a big sponsor of the event. Before we get underway, I want to remind you the bar is open. Make sure you take care of your wait staff tonight, and also the staff from Turning Point has some raffle baskets in the front, and at intermission this evening we'll do the raffle, and some lucky people are going to walk away with some great prizes. For those of you who have never seen the Vagina Monologues or don't know what it's about, when it was written in 1994, I don't think anybody would have known how relevant it is even now in 2022, with all of the things that are happening and all of the different domestic violence situations and situations with sexual assault. So we're actually going to hear from the woman who wrote the Vagina Monologues before we get underway, Eve Ensler. Thank you guys once again for being here. We do appreciate it, and thank you for supporting Turning Point.
I think if you tell the story of your vagina, you tell the story of your life and say,
I bet you're worried.
We were worried.
We were worried about vaginas. We were worried what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. No one ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she was too busy. She didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, it's a full day's work. You have to get down on your back, you're in front of a full-length mirror, you gotta get yourself in the perfect position with the perfect light, and then it's shadowed somehow by the mirror and the angle you're at. You get all twisted, you're arching up your head, you're killing your back, and you're exhausted by that. She said she didn't have time for that. She was busy.
So there were vagina interviews, which became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, young women, married women, lesbians, single women, college professors, actors, corporate professionals, sex workers, Black women, Asian American women, Latina women, Native American women, Caucasian women, Jewish women. Okay, at first women were a little reluctant to talk, and they were a little shy. But once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one's ever asked them before. Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe a medical instrument? Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. Vagina, vagina. Doesn't matter how many times you say it, it never sounds like a word you want to say. It's totally ridiculous, a completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct, darling, could you stroke my vagina? You'd kill the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and what we don't call them.
In Great Neck, New York, they call it a pussycat. A woman there said that her mother used to tell her, "Don't wear panties underneath your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat."
In Westchester, they call it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
There's powder box, a poochie, a poopy, a pee-pee, a poopy-loo, a punani, a pal, and a peesh.
Toady, Dee-dee, Nishi, Dignity Box, Monkey Box?
Coochie snorcher, cooter, labby,
Gladys Siegelman,
VA, Wee Wee, Horse Spot, Nappy Dugout?
Mongo, Mookie, a pajama, a fanny boo, a mushmallow,
a ghoulie, possible, tamale, totita, Connie,
A Mimi in Miami.
a slick knish in Philadelphia,
and a schmende in the Bronx.
We're worried about vaginas.
Some of the monologues are based on one woman's story. Some of the monologues are based on several women's stories surrounding the same theme, and a few times a good idea became an outrageous one. This monologue is based on one woman's story, although the subject came up in every interview and was often fraught. The subject being hair.
You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was clutter and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. It looked puffy and exposed and like a little girl. This excited him. When he made love to my vagina, felt the wear a beard must felt. It felt good to rub it and painful. Like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. Then my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said he screwed around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist has a German accent and gasped between sentences, "Oh," to show her empathy. She asked me why I didn't want to shave my vagina. I told her I thought it was weird. I felt like little when my hair was going down there and couldn't help it, talking in a baby voice. And the skin got irritated and even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She told me marriage was a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop him from screwing around. I asked her if she had many cases like this before. She said that question diluted the process. I needed to jump in. She was sure there was a good start. This time when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus. He clipped it a few times. There was a little blood in the bathtub. He didn't even notice because he was so happy shaving me. Then later, my husband was pressing against me. I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. I realized that hair was there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower, the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order for you to love vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions.
If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, a pink boa.
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting.
Emeralds, an evening gown, sequins.
Armani only.
A tutu, see-through black underwear, and a taffeta ball gown.
Something machine washable.
Costume eye makeup, purple velvet pajamas, Angora, a red bow.
Ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels, lace and combat boots, pearls, purple feather twigs and shells, cotton.
A pinafore,
A bikini.
a slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down.
Is that you?
Feed me. I want. Yum, yum. Oh, yeah.
Start again. No, over there. Lick me. Stay home. Brave choice.
Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More. More. Remember me?
Come inside. Not yet. Whoa, mama. Yes, yes. Rock me.
Enter at your own risk.
Oh God, thank God. I'm here. Let's go. Let's go. Find me.
Thank you. Bonjour. Too hard. Don't give up.
Where's Brian? That's better. Yes, there. There.
A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 were interviewed. These interviews were the most poignant, possibly because many of these women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. She washed herself in the shower and bath, but never with conscious intention. She had never even had an orgasm. At 72, she went into therapy, as they do in New York. And with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic. But when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. This monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me, you'll get sick, suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything, woo! Smells unbearable. Gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire, anything like that. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. I mean, what's a smart girl like you going around
We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff, and he was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall like me, and I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this. Talk about down there? You just know it's there, like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes, and you can hear the pipes and things get caught there, little animals and things, and it gets wet. And sometimes people have to plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays shut. You'll forget about it. I mean, it's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there, though, because every house needs a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, Andy Lefkoff, right. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it back in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking my legs were too long for this seat. I have long legs. And they were smushed up against the dashboard. And I was looking at my kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got so excited. So excited, and well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded out of me, right through my panties and right onto the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee, it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't think it was smelly. But Andy said that it smelled like sour milk and was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard. Like I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe out the flood with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress and it looked so ugly with a flood on it. And Andy drove me home. Without saying another word, and when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store. Locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never ever got close again. I used to have dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds, I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was some restaurant like the kind you saw in Atlantic City, all big with chandeliers and stuff and thousands of waiters with vests. Bert would give me the orchid corsage and I'd pin it on me, blazer, and we'd laugh. We always were laughing, Bert and I, laughing and laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail, huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh more. We were very happy together. And then he'd look into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant, and just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know where those pigeons came from. And the flood would just come straight out from down there. And it would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. And there would be fish inside it and little boats. And the whole restaurant would fill with my flood. And Bert would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past us in their tuxedos and evening gowns. I don't have those kind of dreams anymore. Not since they took away just about every connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. And the doctor thought he was being funny. He says, you don't use it, you'll lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyways? Highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows, and I sell antiques. You ask me what it would wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign that said, closed due to flooding. And what would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place. Down there. Place you don't go. It's closed up under the house. It's just down there. You happy? You made me talk. You got it out of me. You got an old lady to talk about it down there. You feel better now? You know, actually, you're the first person I ever told about this, and I feel better. Thank you.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in a vagina workshop. I learned this from a woman who runs the vagina workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who runs the vagina workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own beautiful, unique, fabulous vagina. And that's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas look like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big, red, screaming mouth with coins spilling out of it. And another very skinny woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines. Black dot was equal to the black hole in space, and the little squiggly lines were meant to be people or things, or just basic atoms that got lost in there. I had always thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I didn't think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not, for example, see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with hand mirrors. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report back to the group what we saw. I must tell you, up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never really seen the thing. It really never even occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking, as we were looking at it in the workshop in our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite kind of unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first thing you see when you cut open a fish and you discover this other bloody complex world inside right underneath the skin. It was raw and red and fresh. And the thing that surprised me most were the layers. Layers inside of layers, opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came my turn at the vagina workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop called vagina wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat with my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon, ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny. It was really funny, actually. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek, open and close. Then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many in the workshop had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand. I had orgasms, but I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They just happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would wake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, and sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because even though I'd had orgasms, I didn't know how to make one happen. I thought it was a mystical, magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong to get involved. It felt contrived and manipulated. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I hadn't had a magical accidental orgasm in a long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the vagina workshop. And then the moment had arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop asked out to take our trusty hand mirrors again and see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason, and I don't know why. I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I was going to have to give up the fantasy, the enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was in fact terrified that I did not have a clitoris. I was terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapable, one of those frigid, dead, shut down, dry, apricot tasting bitter, oh my God! I lay there with my mirror, looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in the lake. How I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over slimy stones, fish, and bottle caps, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew I was going to be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, my sweating and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, "It's gone! I've lost my clitoris! I lost it swimming. I shouldn't have worn it swimming." The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead, and she told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. Okay. So I lay back and I closed my eyes, put the mirror down. I watched myself floating above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. I came into my own muscles and blood and cells, and then I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy, and I fit. I was all warm and pulsing and ready and young and alive. Then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. Then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke open into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which opened onto a plane of music and colors and innocence and longing. And I felt the connection, calling connection as I lay there, thrashing on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny. I am arriving as I am beginning to leave. My vagina, me.
This is from Woman, an Intimate Geography by Natalie Ange. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves. 8,000 nerve fibers, to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers than is found anywhere else in the male or female body, including the fingertips, lips, and tongue, and it is twice the number in the penis.
At 5 years old, I was putting my baby sister's diaper on. I saw a vagina. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought it would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell like my mother. Her sweet aroma lived in my hair, on my hands, and my skin. I ached to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why I was missing my bathing suit top at the beach. Why I wasn't dressed like the other girls. I ached to be completed. I ached to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It has nothing to do with who you are or your fear of heights. But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting.
To touch.
To pet.
To hug.
To help.
To hold their hands.
For trying to fly in a church like Sister Petrel.
For doing cartwheels.
Crocheting socks.
For carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted fingernails.
They punched my lipstick mouth.
They beat the girl out of my boy. Or they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Go punch him back.
I grew a full beard.
It was good. I was big.
I joined the Marine. Suck it up and dive on.
I became duller.
Jaded.
Sometimes cruel.
Butch it.
Butch it.
Butch it up.
Always clenched, inaccurate, incomplete.
I ran away from home.
From school.
From boot camp.
Ran to Miami.
Greenwich Village.
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans.
I found gay people.
Wilderness lesbians.
Got my first hormone shot. Got permission to be myself.
To transition, to travel, to immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I would count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
The feminine is in your face. I lift my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
And my voice. Practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, sing song. Men are monotone and flat. Southern accents are really excellent. Jewish accents really help. Hello, my friend.
And my vagina is so much friendlier. I cherish it. It brings me joy.
The orgasms come in waves. Before, they were jerky.
I am your girl next door.
My lieutenant colonel father ending up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think about her, that she made this happen until I came to church and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I gotta be soft. I'm allowed to listen. I'm allowed to touch. I am able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer to me now.
I can wake up in the morning, put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's a loud car alarm. When I got my vagina, it was like someone finally turned it off.
I live now in the female zone, but you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like when you come from someplace else. They don't like it when you mix. They killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely as he slept with a baseball bat. They beat this girl out of his head. They didn't want him dating a foreigner, even though she was pretty and she listened and was kind. They didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity. They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
This monologue was based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know what should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all. Like, if we had grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes. Really touched mine. Something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turned out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. "I'm right here," I said. "No, you," he said. "I have to see you." "Turn on a light," I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light. He then said, "Okay, I'm ready to see you." "Right here," I waved him, "right here." He then began to undress me. "What are you doing, Bob?" I asked. "I need to see you," he replied. "I need to see what you look like." "But you've seen a red leather couch before," I said. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. "This is awfully intimate," I said. "Can't you just do it?" "No," he said. "It's who you are. I need to look." I held my breath. He looked and looked. He got all breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. "You're so beautiful," he said. "You're elegant and you're deep and innocent and wild." "You saw that there?" I said. It was like he read my palm. "I saw that," he said. and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, but it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina, and we were gone.
This is a not-so-happy fact found in UNICEF's 2013 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting, a statistical overview and exploration of the dynamics of change. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 200 million girls and young women. In the 30 countries where it's practiced, mostly in Africa, about 30 million young girls within the next decade are at risk of the knife or the razor or the glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In half of the countries, the majority of girls were cut before the age of 5. In the rest of the countries, most cutting occurs between the ages of 5 and 14. As many as 30 million girls are at risk of being cut over the next decade if the current trends persist. In a man, it would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased agony and danger during childbirth, and early deaths. However, overall, it is on the decline, with the percentage of girls ages 15 to 19 who have been cut declining from 51% in 1985 to 37% today.
It's pissed off. My vagina's furious and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking of ways to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina, spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers. All this shit they're constantly trying to shove up us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off and it's staying right here. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A wad of dry fucking cotton stuffed up there? Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it. It closes up. You need to work with the vagina. Introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay's all about. You got to convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton. Stop shoving things up me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe them when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're doing. They're trying to clean it up, make it smell like a bathroom spray or a garden. All those douche sprays. Floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. All cleaned up like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. Then there's those exams. Who thought them up? That's got to be a better way to do those exams. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel stirrups? The mean cold duck lips they shove inside you. What's that? My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defended weeks in advance. Won't go out of the house. Then you get there. Don't you hate that? Scoot down. Relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove meat cold duck lips inside it? I don't think so. Why can't they find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me, lay me down on some feathery cotton spread, put on some nice friendly pink or blue gloves, and rest my feet in some fur-covered stirrups? Warm up the ductlets. Work with my vagina. But no, more tortures. Dry water fucking cotton, cold ductlets, and thong underwear. That's the worst. Thong underwear. Who thought that up? Moves around all the time, gets stuck in the back of your crusty butt. Vagina's supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girls are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give them pleasure. No, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in. Women would be coming all day long, coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it. Seeing all those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas. If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds, no clothing, just there all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped release a giant baby. It thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel, doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants. My vagina? My vagina. Well, it wants everything.
Bosnian women refugees were interviewed during the war in Yugoslavia in refugee camps and centers. 20 to 70,000 women were raped in the middle of Europe as a systematic tactic of war. It was shocking to see how little people did to stop it. This monologue is based on one woman's story. We do it tonight for that woman and the extraordinary women of Bosnia and Kosovo.
My vagina was green, water-soft pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly with soft piece of blonde straw.
There is something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since.
My vagina was chatty, can't wait, so much saying words, talking. Can't quit trying, can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes.
Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line, and the bad dead animal smell cannot be removed, and its throat is slit and it bleeds through all my summer dresses.
My vagina singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina home songs.
Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside me, so cold the steel rod canceling my heart. Don't know whether they're going to fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them, monstrous doctors with black masks shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom.
My vagina swimming river water, clean spilling water over sun-baked stones, over stone clit stones, over and over.
Not since I heard the skin tear and made lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand, a part of the lip. Now one side of the lip is completely gone.
My vagina, a live, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown.
Not since they took turns for 7 days smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died and the fish.
My vagina, a live, wet water village.
Not since they took turns for... They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now.
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, an indication that I want it, or give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. Although it has been before, it will not hold up in the new court. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about the cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass or feel to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I'm stupid or malleable or an undecided little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am before you made me cover it or tone it down. Get used to it. My short skirt is my happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the women's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a summer festival in the starry dark, a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign town. My short skirt is a wild spin, a full breath, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation. But mainly, my short skirt and everything under it is mine. Mine. Mine.
In hundreds of interviews with homeless women over the course of 13 years, only one woman was not sexually abused as a little girl or raped as a young woman. For many of these women, home is a very scary place, a place they have fled. The shelters are ironically the first places many of them ever find safety, protection, or comfort. This is a woman's story as she told it. What isn't in the story is the fact that this woman met another woman in a shelter, and they fell in love. And through their love, they both got out of the shelter system.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice, "Stop scratching scratching your coochie snorcher. I become terrified that I've scratched it down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of the water getting in and filling me up until I explode. I put Band-Aids all over my coochie to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug, to prevent things from entering me. I sleep in 3 pairs of Happy Heart pattern cotton underpants underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't pee. And my mom asks me, "What's wrong with your coochie snorcher?" And when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she yelled at me and says, "Never let anyone touch you down there ever again." I tried to explain to her that he didn't touch me, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling, and I impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make a high-pitched scream noise that comes straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital. They sew it up down there where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house, and he's having a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking, except me. I'm playing alone in the basement, and I'm trying on my new cotton bra and underpants that my father's girlfriend gave me. And suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man, Alfred, comes up from behind and pulls my new underpants down and sticks his big, hard penis into my coochie snorcher. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but he already gets it in. My father's there, and he has a gun, and there's this loud, horrible noise, and then there's blood, and it's all over me, and it's all over Alfred. I'm sure my coochie snorcher is finally fallen out. Alfred is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. It's a place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I'm traveling, going far, far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invites me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her I do not like to kiss boys. Then she says she wants to show me something, and she leans over and she kisses me so softly on the lips with her lips, and then she puts her tongue in my mouth. Wow. She asks me if I want to come over to her house, and then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asks my mama if I can spend the night, and my mother's delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, and I can't wait. Her apartment is fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It is the 70s. It's the beach and the fluffy pillows and the mood lights. I decided right then and there that I was going to be a secretary just like her when I grow up. She makes a vodka for herself and then asks me what I want to drink. I say the same as she's drinking. And she doesn't, and she looks at me and doesn't think my mama would like me drinking any vodka. And I say, well, my mom probably wouldn't want me kissing girls either. And the pretty lady makes me a drink. Then she changes into a chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I always thought the bull daggers were ugly. I say, you look great. And she says, so do you. And I say, but I only have this white cotton bra and underpants on. Then she dresses me slowly in another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head, and I'm loose and I'm ready. There's a picture over her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. She's gently and slowly lays me out on the bed, and just our bodies rubbing makes me come. Then she does everything to me and my coochie snorcher that I always thought was nasty before. And wow, I am so hot, so wild. She says, your vagina, untouched by man, smells so nice, so fresh. Wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild. Then the phone rings, and of course, it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm breathing so heavy, and I'm trying to act normal, and when I get on the phone, she asks me, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? I say, no, exercising. Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around boys, and the lady tells her, trust me, there's no boys around here. Afterwards, the gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my coochie snorcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her, and she teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure, so I'll never need to rely on a man. In the morning, I'm worried that I've become a butch because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. I realized later that she was my surprisingly unexpected, politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorcher and raised it to a kind of heaven.
We've created a map of vagina-friendly cities. Welcome, Mom Clemens. I bet you didn't know there were wild for vaginas in Pittsburgh. In fact, a woman from Pittsburgh was obsessed about a particular word, a pejorative word, used to describe the vagina. Her mission was to reconceive the word.
Cunt. Yeah, I said that. I reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Listen to it. Cunt. Cavern. Compassion. Consent, cackle, clit, cute, come closed, closed inside, come, then you. See you, then curvy, inviting shark skin, uniform, under, up, urge, ugh, you, then N, than kun. Snug letters fitting together perfectly. Nest, now, nexus, nice, nice, always deaf, always round and uppercase, kun, a jagged, wicked electrical pulse, and then soft, warm, and kun, then tea, then sharp, tangy, tea, tallywhacker, texture, take, tent, tight, tantalizing, tensing, taste, tendrils, time, tactile, tell me, cunt, the word is cunt, say it with me, cunt, cunt.
If it could speak, what it would say?
It would say words that begin with D and T, like turtle and violin, for example.
What does your vagina remind you of?
A pretty dark peach or a diamond, and from a treasure and it's mine.
What's special about your vagina?
Somewhere deep inside, it has a really, really smart brain.
What does it smell like?
Snowflakes.
Sex workers have rich, compelling, complex relationships with their vaginas. This particular woman blows my mind. She was a sex worker, but she only did sex work with women.
I love vaginas. I love women. I don't see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I didn't start out like this. Oh no, to the contrary. I started out as an attorney. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It began as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I got very good at it, kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Lace and silk and leather. And I used props, whips, handcuffs, rope, dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props, no excitement. And I hated those blue corporate suits. Although they do come in handy from time to time in my new line of work. There were no props in corporate law, no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths. But mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyway. This was a key. I see now, moaning was the thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I would see women in the movies making love, making strange, orgasmic, moaning noises. I used to laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that big, outrageous, ungoverned sounds like that came out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of my mirror, on a tape recorder, moaning in various keys, various tones. But always when I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, only in my desire to be sexual. But then, when I was 10, I had to pee really badly once on a car trip. It went on for almost an hour. And when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting. I moaned. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized right then that moans are connected with not getting what you want, with putting things off. I realized moans were best when they caught you by surprise. They came out of this hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were in fact that language. So I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus, then they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. And I got a reputation in my building, and people started to stare at me in the elevator. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I began to feel bad about my moaning, so I got quiet and polite. I made noise in a pillow. I held it back like a sneeze, and I began to get headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when I discovered women. I discovered that most women loved my moaning, but more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned, when I was responsible for making other women moan. I made love to quiet women, and I found this place inside them, and they shocked themselves into their moaning. I made love to other moaners, and they found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was kind of surgery, a kind of delicate science, finding the tempo, the exact location or home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it, off the record, quietly disarming their surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not violent, oppressing force, more like dominating. I'm gonna take you someplace. Don't worry. Lay back and enjoy the ride, kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I found the moan before things even started, while we were eating salad or chicken, just casual, just right there with my fingers. Here it is, like real simple in the kitchen, all mixed in with the balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I used props. I loved props. Sometimes I made the woman find her own moan in front of me. I waited, stuck it out until she opened herself up. I wasn't fooled by those minor moans. No, I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. There was the clit moan. The vaginal moan. The combo clit vaginal moan. There's the almost moment. The right on it moment. The elegant moment. The gray slick moment. Don't you want somebody to know? The wasp moment. The Jewish moment. No. The black moment. Oh shit. The Irish Catholic moment. No. The mountaintop moment. You lady. The baby moan. The doggy moan. The uninhibited bisexual moan. The machine gun moan. The tortured zen moan. The diva moan. The college moan. I should be studying. And finally, the surprising triple orgasm moan.
This piece was performed for some time without any mention of birth. This was a bizarre omission. But then again, a male journalist recently asked, what's the connection? Our author, Eve Ensler, was present for the birth of her granddaughter. She was in awe of vaginas. Before that moment, she's in deep worship now.
I was there when her vagina opened. We were all there, her mother, her husband, and I, and the nurse from the Ukraine with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning and twisting her rubber glove as she talked casually to us, like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there in the room when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak out of her pores. And still there after hours when she just screamed suddenly wild, her arms striking at the electric air. I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well, with a tiny stuck child inside, waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed. Saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray, pink, the dark. Saw the blood like perspiration along the edges. Saw the yellow, white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing out all the holes, pushing harder and harder. Saw through the hole, the baby's head, scratches of black hair. Saw it just there, beyond the bone. A hard, round memory. As the nurse from the Ukraine kept turning and using her slippery gloves all up in there. I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg, spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing, and her husband sternly counting 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder. We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forgot the vagina. All of us. What would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there when the doctor reached in with the Alice in Wonderland spoons, and there as her vagina became a wide operatic mouth, singing with all its strength, first the little head, then the gray flopping arm, then the fast swimming body swimming quickly into our weeping arms. I was there later when I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see her all spread, completely exposed, mutilated, swollen and torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hands as he sewed her calmly there. I stood and her vagina suddenly became a wide, red, pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in. It can expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and stretch for us, die for us and bleed us into this difficult and wondrous world. I was there in the room. I remember.
Once again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and supporting such a great event from Turning Point here in Macomb County. Just a reminder too, if you don't know much about the organization, do your homework. They do great things and they help a lot of people. Also, you can make donations to the back table. For those who won the raffle baskets, I know there was somebody over here, and somebody over here. You can collect them on your way out. But go to the website at turningpointmacomb.org. That's the website to get all the information. And I know, Karen, I know you put crisis line cards out there this evening, which is extremely important. My name is Erin B. I anchor the news on WWJ News Radio 950. It is an honor to be part of this amazing cast, and thank you for having me here. Make sure you take care of your bartenders tonight, mixing up all those adult beverages, and thank you guys once again. Have a great night.